What's up, guys? Paulie Malignaggi here for Paulie TV. Gervonta Davis versus Rolando Romero is over. Wasn't exactly the scintillating fight that everybody was hoping for, but nonetheless, it was interesting tactical fight for sure. I going into the fight, if you guys remember, I said I think Gervonta will probably play it tactically. I don't think he needs to go into a firefight with Rolando Romero. And I remember some people thinking, this could be a firefight because they don't like each other. A lot of trash talking. It seemed like at times that Romero was getting under the skin of Gervonta Davis, and maybe Gervonta Davis would come out guns blazing, just like everybody assumed Romero would come out guns blazing as well. But when the fight started, it actually became a very tactical affair. I thought it was competitive. I thought it was close when at the time of the stoppage, but I got to be honest, I didn't see it live because I was working the BYB show, BYB 10. Check it out on YouTube as well if you guys want some exciting fights there. They replay it on YouTube. The videos are up on YouTube, bare knuckle fights. But when I saw it, at the time I saw it, obviously when you're not watching a fight live and you kind of already hear about the result, you kind of watch it a bit differently. And what I gather from what I was watching, obviously not watching it live, and watching it later on, is that, I saw a calm Gervonta Davis. Even though the fight was competitive and close, it never felt like Gervonta was out of touch with the reality, or even in a feeling a sense of urgency. I mentioned before, this kid can box. He can box if he has to. And I thought that would be what he might resort to once the fight started, because he doesn't have to go toe to toe with Rolando Romero, because that would be Rolando Romero's only opportunity to catch him with a big shot, as if Davis gets careless and it becomes anybody's fight if they start trading power shots. So having seen Davis, especially with what I saw in the Pitbull Cruz fight, I really thought that Davis' best chance would be just to box, and eventually he'd get his man. And it seemed, despite the competitiveness of the fight, it seemed like Davis really truly believed that. And despite the competitiveness of the fight, he never looked uncomfortable in the fight. Yes, Romero landed some good shots, especially in round two, when he landed that half hook, half jab in the midst of that combination, and then pushed Davis to the ground. I think it got people more excited, or it got even Romero excited, that maybe Davis might have felt it or got hurt, but I don't think that was the case. I think it was just more the shock factor of he got hit with a shot that snapped his head back, because when you land a half hook, half jab from that close of range, your head's going to snap more, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you got hurt. But of course, the head snapping, people assume that more damage happened than in actuality may have. But nonetheless, I keep that in mind, because Romero was pressuring. I thought he was doing well. You saw the occasional counter shot from Davis as well. I thought it was close. Nobody was really taking control of the fight, but it seemed very tactical. I'll tell you what, though. If Romero doesn't make any mistakes, this fight is going to continue in this way, and I wonder if Davis is going to step on the gas in the second half of the fight, or if he was legitimately maybe just playing it too patient, and the fight would have ended up becoming a very close decision at the end. But it almost seems like Davis knew that eventually Romero would make the mistake. Romero's inexperience, Romero's awkwardness eventually would lead him to do something that would cost him against the power punching Gervonta Davis. And what I noticed with the finishing shot, first of all, it's a beautiful catch and shoot. Okay, that first and foremost. But if you notice, right before Romero gets knocked out, he throws that same right hand to the stomach about a second or two right before. So when you're looking to do that, you're looking to set up a headshot, because what you're doing is you throw that shot to the stomach, Davis backs up, you step forward, and you get him thinking to the shot to the stomach, which Davis clearly was anticipating. You can tell that catch and shoot that he reacted so perfectly on. You can tell he was anticipating another shot to the stomach. And anticipation is a big part of counterpunching, and it's speed, timing, and it's anticipation as well. So Romero messed up, because really what you're supposed to do, he threw the shot to the stomach, Davis steps back, the next shot is supposed to come to the head. You throw that first shot to the stomach. If for any other reason, you're throwing it to get him thinking to the stomach, because it was just a random jab or looping right hand to the stomach. It's not like there was any other intent in it, like Davis was going to fall for a trap. So I'm thinking, as I look back on it, obviously the hindsight 2020, looking at it, I'm thinking that's a shot you use, and then you get Davis to think to the stomach, and then you step in and you throw to the head while he's thinking to the stomach. Instead, Romero throws the same shot to the stomach. This time Davis is waiting for it because he just took one a second ago, where took one on the arm a second ago. So now he's thinking, okay, I'm going to step back. If he's coming with the same shot, I'm going to counter him. I mean, he was able to put everything on the counter shot because it was the shot he was waiting for, because he just saw it. That's why you throw the second right hand to the head. You set the table the same manner, and then you actually throw it to the head instead of to the stomach. If he throws that second right hand to the head, he may actually land it, or at least not going to take a counter shot as sharply as he did when he got knocked out, a shot that knocked him out, because Davis is going to be anticipating the shot to the stomach, and he's going to have to adjust to the head in case he blocks it. He's not going to be able to counter, really. Also, if you look at that shot, it's the same. Also, he's looking to finish the same way he finished in the second round. If you remember the second round, he throws that right hand, and then he throws that straight hook / jab. When he takes that counter shot, he's throwing the right hand to the stomach, as I just explained. But Rollie's actually looking to come with that same hook jab again. If you look, when he gets clipped with the counter, he's in the midst of throwing the succession shot to the body shot that he's throwing. So he's looking to throw the right hand to the stomach, and then that jab hook to the head. So this was actually his intent, what he was doing. He threw the right hand to the stomach. He wanted to back Davis to the ropes. Then once Davis can go back to the ropes, Davis has nowhere to back up to anymore. So he figures, I'll throw the same shot again, but this time I'll pop up to the head with the left after I throw it to the stomach. The only problem is Davis was waiting for that same right hand to the stomach. You should have went to the head first with the right hand, then followed up with the left to the head as well. It's I don't know if it's being explained to you as easily as I'm seeing it in my mind, but that was with hindsight being 2020, that was the ideal shot you follow up the initial right hand with, the initial right hand to the stomach with. Instead, he followed it up with the identical right hand to the stomach, and he never even got to finish the combination, because as he's trying to throw the succession shot, the follow-up shot to his right hand to the stomach with his left hand to the head, which again is with the same shot he landed in round 2, he doesn't get to land it because Davis catches and shoots rapidly, sharply, and the fight ends. There's some controversy about whether the fight should have been stopped. I think the fight should have been stopped. Romero didn't really argue it. Didn't really look like he knew where he was going. If he would have been allowed to continue, there was enough time to where he was going to get, I think, take a pretty hard combination and would have ended the fight anyway. So, there was no really argument at the moment of stoppage from Romero either. So, at least I didn't notice it. And so a good finish by Gervonta Davis, timing, good boxing. Usually guys that are punchers don't fight well going backwards. I'm not going to say I was super impressed with the way Davis fought going backwards, but again, I don't think his intention was ever to just win the fight going backwards. I think he eventually knew he was going to walk Romero into a shot. Romero is awkward. He's not a bad fighter, but in reality, you could see that, I felt like the intensity of the moment, even during his ring walk, was kind of not getting to him, but he was kind of like, wow, and I kind of had this again in the Cotto fight, where you kind of thinking and looking around, and you're thinking, wow, man, I made it. This is where I wanted to be, But sometimes that can also impact your decision making. I never really looked at Romero as the most high IQ fighter. He's awkward, and he makes that work for him, and he can punch, obviously. But I think Davis, who is a pretty good high IQ fighter, I think Davis looked at Romero, no matter how competitive the fight was, and he looked at him like, this guy's eventually going to make a mistake. He's not intelligent enough to be in a fight like this, and eventually he's going to do something that costs him. And in reality, if that was his thinking, and it seems like that was his thought process based on the approach he took in the fight, that ended up happening. What happens next with Gervonta Davis? I'd like to see him fight some more known fighters. He's fighting guys that we really didn't know or don't know much about until he fights them. Then we know them. Isaac Cruz turned out to be a good opponent, but we didn't really know much about him going into the fight. Rolando Romero, we've seen him. Actually, Rolando Romero probably had to come into the fight with what should have been a decision loss on his record already, because Jackson Martinez had probably beat him not that long ago in a fight that most people didn't have Romero winning. So that's pretty much the most I had seen from Romero Obviously, he'd had some good wins too, but nothing that really sparkled. Here's the thing: I can't knock the matchmaking completely though, because I always say this with the secondary world titles. They're not real world championships. So Gervonta Davis is not defending titles against these kind of guys. I'll put it to you like this: perception is reality, right? If Gervonta Davis wasn't defending this made up world title, this imitation title, would people care about this matchup as much? Or is it the fact that there's an imitation world title on the line? Because at lightweight, we know all the world titles are on the line in the Kambosos Haney fight, right? So is it a case where Davis is fighting a non-title fight against Rolando Romero? Would that be pay-per-view worthy in your eyes? I mean, most likely based on the sales and based on the arena, how big it was and how filled it was. Davis is a popular fighter, and most likely they'll probably have done well with the fight. But in reality, I'd like to see Davis. In an ideal world, you'd like to see Davis fight the winner of Kambosos and Haney. That's the ideal world. Where the real world titles will be on the line. I don't really want to see Gervonta Davis continue to defend this made up world title and get sold to us like a world champion. In a sport where the matchups don't happen enough, we're inventing more titles and convincing everybody who has them, and then the networks that put on these fights selling to you the fact that they're selling